Hello, it is Lord Haywire. I am streaming some 2D 4X today, which is a 2D 4X game that I am creating in Godot and C Sharp, the C Sharp version of Godot. We are currently working on so the game is a post-apocalyptic game. These are our test counties, and this is Oregon. Obviously, we got a little one here in Washington for the future when we have like provinces type of thing. We're not going to use states. We're going to use provinces because it takes place in North America. Uh, but anyways, what we're working on right now is we're making these county improvements. You can build these improvements for your county, and workers work at them, but they have input goods. Holy shit! This one has 1,000. That's expensive. So it has these input goods where it takes 5 wood to produce food or fish. These aren't real ones. These aren't real input goods. These are just test ones. I don't know if we'll have anything for the starting fish or shit. Maybe some wood or something like that. But there isn't really an economy at this point. Since it's post-apocalyptic right now, we're going to do an economy later where there's a private industry and public industry. But right now we're at the very infancy of the game. It's going to be at the very infancy of the game for the next 5 years. That's the plan. And then, but right now what we're getting to work is these input goods. We actually made some progress yesterday and last week in a little bit. Keep running into the same issue that I just got to remember. And I was thinking, like yesterday, I went on this diatribe. What changed? I didn't change these. What? Those got modified. Let's look at them. They shouldn't have been changed. Nothing strange. It's probably because... No, it doesn't matter. We'll just hope that nothing terrible has happened storage. Anyways, so I forgot what I was saying. Oh, no. I keep running into the same bug that I run into, and then I think I'm fixing it, and then it's another thing, and then yesterday I was saying that, the more I run into the same issue, I'll remember it better, and then I've already forgotten what I was talking about yesterday. So, like, my memory was not that great. So we're going to have to run into that 100 more times before my memory locks in on that issue. But we did have... Oh, I wanted to... Yesterday... So, this thing is ugly as shit. These little panels. I'm going to have to make these better, because, one, it's hard to read. Like, which one are we working on here? This is the converted warehouse C. Like, the whole thing's just ugly. So we're going to have a beautification at some point of the whole game, but right now it was for function over beautification, or function over beauty. And I was like, oh, we need to add this other thing in here, and I added it to the list, and I decided that add stockpiled resources to the county improvement canary. I'm just going to move this to the next round because we've been stuck on this forever. So I have these things called why is merge to main? Oh no, I guess that makes sense. I'm gonna just put this in the next round. We'll get to it. I need to stop. It's one of those things where I guess they call it feature creep or something, where I just keep adding to this as we go, so we never can finish this one thing. I've been working on this adding scouting equipment to the game for months and months. So I need to stop adding things to county improvements and things that we need to do, and just finish it and then move on to the next thing. That's what needs to go on. That's what needs to happen here. So that's what we're going to do. And I'm put this note in here. This is a project on GitHub. It's open source, so you can see this. We are at I should probably double check my things, make sure I'm streaming and whatnot. We are at check for preferred work in county. So in the county here, we are... check for preferred work. So this is what we were going through yesterday, and someone in chat helped me, which is common, where they say, hey, why aren't you doing this? And I say, I don't know, and then I look at it again and do it differently. So what we're doing right now is the county improvement has those input goods, and what happens if they don't have the input goods. And that's what this is. Check if status not enough stockpile goods. And we're going to change this status, actually, to low stockpile goods. Actually, go back to this. I'm already using this. Let's rename this to low stockpile goods. And then let's find this, because I already can't remember where we're using this. If status equals this, we return true. Check if low. So we're gonna do we're regardless if they have none or if they're low, we're gonna interact with the building the same way. So that's why we're just changing this to low stockpile goods. And this is low stockpile goods. It returns true if that's equal, and it returns false if it's not. That looks good to me, but let's go to the next one, because I can't remember what we did, even though it was yesterday. So this equals low stockpile goods, and if the stockpile goods is greater than 0, it changes it to producing. So this is if it's greater than 0. So this is check if no stockpile goods. No goods stockpiled. It's probably should switch that. Just I am always renaming everything. So do we care? So the whole point of this right now is that if there's a low stockpile, they stop hiring people. And that's kind of like, we need to make it so that before we even can start like using the input goods, we need to figure out how people are hiring and whatnot, because otherwise there's going to be a bunch of people working in this place when it can't produce anything, and because it needs the things to produce the things. So what we need to do, not enough stockpile goods, we need to change this to low. We need to make like an executive decision here. If there are any goods that is greater than 0, and if there are any good that is greater than, no, that doesn't, and if there are any, so what we need to decide is what level is low. Like, is low mean that there's not enough for a day? I think 2 days is what we want. And I think I have this already. This is 7 days if they're already employed there. Population shit. That's not what we want. County stuff. I think this, yeah, we want this to, so on globals is like these global numbers that we have so we can adjust things. I guess this would be county stuff. It's not really, it's more like county improvement stuff. So let's put above here, we'll put a new export group. And we'll call it county improvement stuff. And we might see, it's kind of in population work, daily work amount, food gain, occasional resource usage amount, occasional need increase amount, whatever that means, daily employed idle. This well, no, these are all for work. Okay, so we'll do here export public int. This is gonna be, wait, this needs to be up here. And this needs to be here. Then we need, this is low stockpiled resource goods. I used to call them resources. Goods. Good days. And we're going to say 2. So if they have less than 2 days worth of stuff, it will be considered low. If the county improvement has less than this amount, it is considered low on stockpiled goods. I think I hard-coded that shit in somewhere. I thought I feel like I already did this, put this variable in somewhere. Wonder if I put it in like improvement data. Well, if we run into it again, we can fix it. So what that means is, where was that thing? Was it the hall master? It was the hall master. Check if no goods stockpiled. I feel like we can. I feel like we can do this. We can just do this right here. We no or low, or it should be the same. I mean, I just said that earlier in the stream. Check if low goods stockpiled. Low stockpiled goods. We just talked about that too. Low stockpiled goods. Okay. It's kind of confusing though, because this is like a status check. What was that other one called? Check if status. Okay. Well, I agree with my past self. So if the stockpiled amount, which we're passing in, is greater than, we need to do some math here. Int needed goods equals globals instance. What did I call that thing? Something low times max workers. That's in the county improvement we're passing in here. Adjusted max workers, and then we're going to go to a new line so it's easier for you guys to read, times oh, this is going to be a shitstorm. This is going to be wrong. Oh, was this what I was thinking about yesterday? I remember I was thinking while I was like talking and yammering on about something else in the back of my mind. I was like, this is going to be more of a pain than you were thinking about. The hall master does this, huh? I guess that makes sense. So what we need to do is we actually need to for each. I feel like I've done this in another spot. Well, we'll write it anyways, and then if we run into it, like I said, for each county improvement, what? No, for each input good, for each good data. This is, okay, so this is just checking one at a time. All right. This is, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Let's find this. Yeah, so this is doing it for each gather stockpile goods. It's checking this, and it's going to change the status to low. If this is what we wrote yesterday, where the person in chat was like, "Why are you doing it that way?" So that's a common thing. So this is checking each individual one for us already. So we're passing in this. We have the low stockpile goods day, which is 2 times adjusted max workers, which is the amount in there, and we need the input good. We need to pass in another thing then, because we need to know the number. Let's move this comma down here so we can, it's easier for you guys to see. So then we'll need another int. This is good needed per day, comma. That's not a comma. All right, so what did it get? We're going to pass in another thing. And then that is that. And then if the stockpiled amount is less than or is greater than needed goods, it kicks this into producing. So this isn't going to work, though. Now that I wrote this code, I can tell you this isn't going to work. So this is going to work for one. If it's one item, it will do this. But back to... Where was this thing? Oh, it's right here. So this is going to go through each input. Oh, we're doing it with the input goods? There's probably a better way to do this whole thing. I almost named this stream this, and that was, we're going to have to rewrite all this code. The whole game is going to need a rewrite regularly for the rest of time. Stockpile amount wanted. So let's rethink this here. So the input good, input, stockpile, see, we do have something in here. Input, stockpile, modifier, population work. The amount of input goods an improvement tries to hold. It's the same number. The amount of goods amount of goods. Okay, that's fine. Amount of goods per day. Okay, so it's going to try to days. This is going to be days of goods. Hopefully that makes sense to future self. Future me, I don't think it will. So we go through the input good, and we get this, the county good, and we're doing this list, and if it's greater than, or it grabs this stuff, and so what we're checking here is the stockpile goods, because we've already grabbed the shit. So we're checking the stockpile goods, but we've already... Maybe I'll write this out in here, and then we'll break them into methods afterwards. I do that sometimes because I want the logic to flow and be able me to understand without jumping between two things, and then I break them into little pieces later. So this is taking the input goods, and we're getting the county goods. No, we don't need this loop anymore. This is the person said don't loop it, just delete it. As I can, period. So they take the input good, and stockpile amount wanted is less than or equal to the good amounts. They take it, and then they take, the amount that they want, which is the 2-day amount. So we already have that. We can actually, I don't think we need this. So if this is this, then we say this. This goes here. This goes to producing. It was in the right spot. Activities? No, all enums. Producing. So it's already doing this, I think. Let's go through this flow again. Sometimes I have to do that, like rethink everything, go through everything 10 times. So the stockpile amount wanted, with our example, it's 5 wood because there's 5 people who work there, and it's 1 wood per person. So it's 5 people. They want the 2 days worth, so it's 10. If the county has more than, I mean, I guess the better way to write this, just so that it's easier to read, if the county good dot amount is greater than or equal to the stockpiled amount wanted, because that's really what we're checking. Is the stockpile, is the county, is there enough county goods there? Is basically what we're looking for. So if the county good amount is greater than or equal to stockpiled amount, the county good amount is taken, we take the stockpiled amount, and then the county stockpile goods, we add to the stockpile goods dictionary, and we add it on top of whatever they had the day before. Whatever they had the day before. So the day before, so I think that's a problem. So the day before, let's say they already had 10 and it hits this. They're going to take 2 days worth. So we need to put in a max amount of that they'll hold. Otherwise, they'll just be slurping up stockpile goods. Wood, in this particular example, they'll be slurping wood. They'll be just stockpiling wood till the end of time. So I don't know, like I was saying this yesterday, I don't know what's going on in my eyes right now. I was saying this yesterday that I don't know how it works in real life. We could probably look it up. Let's look it up. We could ask ChatGPT too and see what it says, and sometimes it's right. In real world stockpile amount wanted. Let's just see if we get some example. This is in the preppers subreddit. This is a max of 3,000 needed. This is if you want to keep a bunch of guns. You should have 3,000 rounds. 3,000 rounds? Is that enough, or is that too much? That seems like a lot. How many? You got a magazine with 30 rounds in it. This gives you 100 reloads. For how long are you prepping for? Look at this. Is all. Why is it all ammo? Did I type ammo in here? All right. Let's ask ChatGPT and see what it says. In the real world, how many days worth of production goods does a manufacturer stockpile usually? Well, let's leave that misspelled. You'll figure it out. Very widely on the just-in-time manufacturing. A few hours to a couple of days. Lean manufacturing. Seasonal, heavy industry. We're going to pretend it's weeks to months. Aerospace, machinery, pharmaceuticals and food. Emergency, several months. All right, so let's do this. We're going to go back to our globals. Input stockpile multiplier. We're going to rename this to min amount, minimum days stockpile. And then we're going to do max days stockpile. And we're going to say, let's say 14 for right now. That's 2 weeks. The max amount a county improvement will try to stockpile. The max amount in days, amount of goods. All right, so if we have that, back to this, the hall master here. So what we need to do is have we need to make this more complicated, basically. And it's going for every good, because there could be a list of goods. There could be wood, steel, whatever. Uh, so for the first thing, I'm going to double check something. Occasionally, my chat doesn't work very well, and I have to make sure and just check in. And I guess you know what I can do is just click this more. There's a button on here that I need to look at it again because it's probably just set up wrong. So we're gonna need another number. This is minimum. And then we're gonna want maximum. And that's gonna equal this, actually with that too. But this is gonna be max. All right, so now we have both these numbers. And if the goods amount is greater than or equal to the minimum amount, and wait, and the county goods dot amount, no, and the max stockpiled amount wanted, no, and the county goods amount is now we don't care about that. What we care about is we need to check against the stockpiled amount, the current stockpiled amount, which is going to be could we skip this whole thing? We could do this. You know what I do sometimes is I write it all shitty and then I paste it into ChatGPT and I say, make this better, and then make it generally, not always, but I would say it's got like an 80% success rate of making it better. Sometimes it makes it better, but then it leaves out like a little portion that's very important because, you know, it doesn't have a brain. It isn't a brain. It isn't a brain thing. So let's do this. If input, no, we don't need it. The input good. We need the stockpile amount. So we need the county improvement data dot stockpiled goods. What did we call that? County stockpiled goods. All right, we had to rename that. It's actually right in front of it. It's this thing right here. Except we don't need the squigs in there. Get the squigs out of here. If, and this is an int. This is a dictionary with that thing, int. If this is greater than do we want greater than or equals to? Let's do greater than or equals to. I mean, this isn't that deep. Sometimes I like dwell on some stupid shit like that, where I just sit there and not under like, oh, it should be greater than, like it's really important. It isn't really that important. Then we're gonna do max stockpile amount wanted, and then we're gonna do this, and if this is greater than, we don't want to return. I've learned my lesson there. We want to continue. So if this is greater than this, so this needs to be up here then. Put it right here. Put a space here so this is less ugly. All right, so if the county if the county improvement data's county stockpile goods of that county type is greater than or equal to the max stockpile amount wanted. So they already have 7 days worth. It's just going to go to the next thing in this for each loop. It's good enough, right? It's already set to producing. And then if this is false, so that means that it's less than the max amount, it's going to go and it's going to say, hey, is this greater than the minimum amount? And then it's going to take that. Else, it's going to take whatever they have left over, and it's going to put the thing to low stockpile goods, because it's not. That's not going to work. So if it's gonna, if the goods amount is greater than or equal to the minimum, it takes that and it continues to produce. So on here, it's going to take what it can. See, there's going to be this weird period where it's going to be taking the little bit. It's going to be taking a little bit, and then it's going to hit the low stockpile goods setting. But it's not going to be low stockpile goods because it's going to have more than from the days before. So what we need at the bottom of this is where we check the stockpiled amount. But this thing's going to kick it back. This thing's going to change it to producing all the time. Every time it hits this, I guess we could take this out and then make sure that this is checked at the end, but then we would have to go through everything again, and I don't want to go through every input good again. Right now, there's only going to be like 1 or 2, but there could be some things that need like 3 or 4, and then there's 3 or 4 things times every county improvement times every county times, you know, we're going to have like 500 counties at some point. So that's a lot of checking. I know I keep saying I'm going to not worry about that stuff, but I can't help it. So if this is greater than that, we don't take any more. That's right. If the county improvement has over the max amount, then it skips to the next good it needs. So this county stockpile goods equals, so that goes to the next one. And then if the good amount is greater than or equal to the minimum stockpile, so there actually should be, we need a different thing here. We need another global here. And that's how much it should take per day, which I guess could be the minimum. It should always try to take the minimum. I guess that's fine. What is your problem? Oh, yeah, it's because we might get rid of that whole thing. We probably will. So back to this. If the county improvement stockpile goods is greater than the, we already did look at that, is greater than the minimum, it's going to sort of space here, take enough for 2 days worth, and it's going to add it in there. That's right. If the goods wanted to stockpile is greater than 2 days currently, it will take 2 days worth. Then, but else, if this good amount, it's going to take all of them it has left, which is what we want it to do, but then doesn't put it at low. So let's say it's between the 7 days and the 2 days. So what we need to do is have another test at the end of this. That's like, is it between these two things or is it less than? So let's do that. And then we will definitely put this. So you're going to come down here, buddy. Whoops. Not that. This. Okay, so if this is going to also be down here. I suddenly forgot how to move that shit around. If, what did we call this up here? Minimum stockpile amount wanted. We need to do a between the two. If maximum is greater than, we need this thing, and this is where that and comes in, and this, don't I already have this called county goods? No, this is the other, I'm going to put this somewhere else. We don't need this big long piece of shit here. This is amount stockpiled, right? Yeah, this is amount stockpiled. So let's do this. This is going to be an int amount stockpiled. Didn't I call that? No, I didn't call that. I said that was somewhere else. Let's double check this thing. Oh, we need this after county good type. All right, let's put this here. County improvement, county stockpiled, county good type. This is the amount stockpiled from the dictionary. And then we have this here. See, we don't need this. Why does this seem like so much longer? Amount stockpiled. County amount stockpiled amount, even though that's the opposite of what I call I don't know. We'll leave it that way. So this is, if this is amount stockpiled, then we can do this, is greater than the maximum stockpiled amount, we continue. If the county good is greater than the minimum, which we've done the math up there for, if this, oh no. Can we just add this in here? I don't feel like that's going to work. Like this is, I know this is like, so this is a thing that way, like a couple of years ago, because I've been doing this for a long time now, I didn't understand that equals doesn't actually mean equals. It means sometimes it's passing a reference, and sometimes I still to this day don't know when it's just referencing this. Like, is this becoming a new number or is this referencing this number? And whatever I think, when I'm positive it is referencing the number, I'm wrong. So I think I'm going to leave this like this, but I am going to bring this down here so that it's more readable for you guys. Good amounts. We're going to take this and we're going to add it to this stockpile as a dictionary. I guess to keep things consistent, we'll move that down there too. And then we're going to zero out that. Except, is that hitting the county good? Now I don't know. This one definitely. Okay, so we'll assume that. So then after this, we're back to our thing here, but we don't need this big long piece of shit. If this is stockpiled, amount stockpiled, is greater than this, and yeah. Go. What are you doing, Tab? Oh my God. What the fuck was that? It was having a freak out there. All right. And stockpiled amount is greater than minimum. Well, that doesn't make any sense. So we got to think about this. We got to think about this from the point of view that there's multiple items that are going to be hitting this. So we don't want it to actually, we need to, yeah, we can't have this producing. It always has to be defaulting to producing. So actually all we need to check is if it's over the minimum amount wanted. The amount stockpiled is greater than the minimum amount wanted. If the amount stockpiled is less than the minimum amount wanted, then we say low. But that means we can't do this. Because we need, so, because it's going to go to the, now it's going to go, it's done with this good, and it's going to go to the next good. If we have this producing thing anywhere, it's going to take away this thing. So we got to go this. So that's great and all, but now we need it to go back to producing. So how do we do this? Somebody mentioned this in another thing, and we did it somewhere. So it's got to do a thing where it only changes to low stockpile. It only changes to producing. It's always, so they all have to, this isn't that hard. This sometimes in my brain has got to get warmed up on a Sunday. It's actually surprisingly warmed up. My coffee shop moved 0.1 of a mile farther from me. And so now I get a 0.1 of a mile longer walk. And it's, today it felt long. Since Thursday it moved. The past couple days before that, it did not feel long. Okay, if amount stockpiled is less than minimum stockpiled amount, county improvement dot status equals low stockpile good. I mean, that would work if it wasn't going to go to the next thing. So when do we... So once again, because this is a loop, and we're checking multiple input goods, we need this check. How the fuck do I do this? Where did we do that other one? So we have it producing at all times. So what we do is here. Where did I delete this thing out of here? We can take this whole line. This whole line is up here. We say producing. So the county improvement status will be producing, and then it's going to go through this loop, and if any of these things in the loop are below the amount, it's going to change it to, okay, this is ugly. We're going to copy this, and we're going to go a new chat. Make It's better. There was something I heard about ChatGPT. I think it was last night. Or no, OpenAI. Something shitty. OpenAI news. Oh, well, that guy's dead. That's always a bummer. What's the guy's name? Sam Dickweed. What is the guy's name? Sam Altman. News. Well, oh, wait. What a fucking dickhead. He's donating to Trump. It's crazy how shitty rich people are. Anyways, here's an improved version of your method with better readable structure and consistent comments. Made comments concise. So what I generally do, I mean, it's not like we tested my code. This doesn't look that different. What else did you do? Improve variable names for better understanding. Avoid repetition. Remove redundant. Well, I had that in there for a reason. So at the top, it was going to do it. And the bottom, it was, oh, you still did it. Okay. Logic separation. Grouped. I gotta look it. Okay, grouped logic into clear sections for better flow. Magic numbers. Highlighted constants like 2 days for better configurability. Magic numbers. Somebody in chat was talking about magic numbers one day. I don't know where it went. Did it pull my globals? Sometimes it does that. It's like, I don't want you to be using globals in here. Let's copy this code. Let's put it over here. We'll comment my code out. That's what I've learned, is never like just assume that that's what it's going to give you is going to even be understood at all. Sometimes it has like glaring problems, but we can be able to read this better. So come on, man. It doesn't understand when I do that. Current stockpile. All right, that's good. Math min. Okay, so the minimum amount and the county good amount, if the amount to stockpile is greater than 0, I have a feeling this is, oh, see, it got rid of one whole if. Oh, no, it didn't. Yeah, it did. No, it didn't. I don't know. Oh, it got rid of the else part. So it's getting the minimum amount versus the county amount, which is okay. But where's it setting the producing thing? Okay, that's still here. If amount to the stockpile is greater than 0. Okay, no, this is great. This is good. See, it does do stuff sometimes that's better than most of the time. All right, this looks okay. It doesn't mean it's going to work right. Well, all right, what's your problem over here? We don't need this. We'll just comment this out too. Don't worry, it's not going to be here for long. My favorite thing is deleting code. Okay, so now what? Now we got to test it, I suppose. Sometimes when like testing stuff is the hardest part. So how are we going to test this? So how we're going to test this is we're going to have all those things, the GD prints coming out. This looks right. And we're going to, so 5 wood is what they want, which is right. I think we gave them like 100 wood to start, just to start with. And now we're going to run this. We're gonna keep an eye out for bugs here. The Fisher shed is completed. Just make sure that there's some people working. What's your problem? You're unhelpful? Makes sense why you're not working. Okay, so then let's look at resources. So 2 days have passed and it's taken 10 each time because that's the minimum amount is the 10. 2 days have passed. Let's double it. Well, yeah, 2 days have passed. That's impossible though because that's too much. Let's restart this. I think it should be 1 day. So let's look at here. County improvement. It doesn't cost you anything. It's going to take 5. You know, we want it to take 10 days worth. Each time, let's check our resources. We have 100. Well, 100 wood. At 1 a.m. is when things kick in. That's not what we want to look at. Man, we're eating through the remnants. 100 is right. We're not even built anything yet. I just want to make sure. So 1 a.m. has passed. Because 1 a.m. is like the cutoff, the beginning of a day, basically. So we're going to construct this thing. And so that we're going to wait here. We're going to speed this up. Okay, 1 a.m. has passed. It hasn't taken any wood, which it shouldn't have because it hasn't been built yet. There's 5 people building it. There's 5 people building this. So day 2, it's done. So it's finished working. So it's finished being built and it's automatically already grabbing. Well, we can look. Yeah, so it finished being built and it immediately started stockpiling. So at the end of day, so it checks, there's two day things that happen each day. There's start of day, which happens after end of day. End of day happens first, and then it goes start day. So end of day, it finished being constructed. Then the start of day, it immediately grabbed 10, which is 2 times. So that's right, though. And then after that, it employs as many people as it can, which it just did. So I think this is right. I think that's working. It's going to be hard to test until we get some weird shit happening. When I say weird shit, I mean like where there isn't enough, like there's 7 wood or something. I guess we could put in 7 wood. And let's do that. Let's do... That's in county generation. What is going on here? Is it doing this thing again? It's doing it. There we go. I knew it. Somehow so you do this with your middle mouse. You can adjust this rows. And for some reason it's always I must be doing it on accident somehow. We need county generation. And we need starting amount of each good. We put 100. Let's put 7. And see what happens. We just need a number that's between the min and max. And then we need to construct one. Because we don't want it to croak. We just want it to not be hiring people. But the hiring people thing is going to come up later. We haven't actually even programmed that in yet. We've started to. All right, it's finished. It should have already grabbed it. So it grabbed all of it, and we didn't get a bug. We assume it grabbed all of it. We can't actually look at it, but we might be able to because I changed something. So let's look here. Factions, the shipbirds, and all county improvements. It's number 2. Stockpile county goods. 80, but see, this isn't it. This isn't right. So we go to here, we go to counties, factions, own, we go to Portland. Nope, that's not Portland. That's Wasco. Wasco. Go back to from Wasco. Go to Portland. Then we go to, this is a mess, completed county improvements. Then we go to here. And then we go to county. This is fucking horrible. And it has 7. That's exactly what we wanted. We've done it. Game's finished. And what time? All right, I'm going to take a break in like 2 minutes here. When I say 2 minutes, I mean 5. I've been noticing that. So I grew up in San Diego, which is in California, obviously. And, you know, we all talk like Valley Girls from there. I don't know if you know what a Valley Girl is. Just look up the movie Valley Girl. Anyways, I know some people don't understand what like means. And I haven't lived in Southern California for 20 years, but I still talk that way. And it's not that they don't understand it. They don't get the nuance of what like means. So I'll be like talking away and especially chat. And I think one of the things is that, so if they're the closer they are to the West Coast, the more they understand what like means. But the farther they are away. So sometimes I'll be like, there, I just said like. So in that time, when I was about to use like, it means that I'm telling a fabricated story, right? I said they would be like, meaning I'm not telling a literal story. I'm an approximation, and often means approximation, right? And so I'll say something like, someone in chat. Oh no, I'll say something like, there was 10,000 dudes there. And then someone in chat will say, it's impossible that there could be 10,000 people there. And they didn't understand that I said like at the beginning, which is either, but in that case, I'm not using it as an approximation. I mean, using it as, this is an exaggeration. Suki, how's it going? And so there's a weird thing with, and like I said, it's the farther a person is from the West Coast, the more they think I'm literally talking about something. It's very strange. I've noticed it in the past couple of years. It even happens to people who grew up in Oregon. They'll take what I'm saying literally, and so a lot of times it's hyperbole. I'll be just like, it. I took a lift to work. It was like 15 hours to get there, and then they'll be like, it wasn't 15 hours, and it's like, yeah, no shit. I just said it wasn't 15 hours, but it's yeah, whatever. Exaggerating. Use 1 million in 10,000. Oh, I know what you mean. So, like, is an exaggeration? There was like 10,000 times. Yeah. And it's weird. What is the name? There's a word for this. A colloquialism. It's a colloquialism that it shouldn't. That it's you can pick it up in context, but sometimes. And I'm sure I do something that's the opposite, where people are like Oregonians are like, Josh always thinks that we mean this, but we mean this or something. Dude is the other thing. We were talking about this in chat. Dude is sometimes easily misconstrued, and there's ways. You know, here's one that's crazy. So once again, I'm from San Diego, but if you call someone guy, and what I mean is, you're like, hey, what's up, guy? That's a bad thing. So if someone that means like if it's a minor insult, but you don't call people, you say, hey, what's up, dude, or hey, what's up, man. But if you say guy, hey, what's up, guy, that's like, guy is like standoffish if you put guy on there. So if you say, if there's a stranger and you don't like the looks of him, and you want to like kind of let him know that I'm fucking got my eye on you, you'd be like, hey, what's up, guy? and then the dude's gonna be like, oh, this guy, he's got his eyes on me. He's very, we're not gonna see eye to eye here. There's this guy, there's this guy, but see, that's different. If I say there's this guy, that's not an insult. There's this guy that works at Plaid Pantry, which is a like 7-Eleven by my house. He calls everyone guy. And I'll be, hey, what's up, guy? And so every time he says that to me, I'm like, hey, fuck you, man. But I know because I know the guy, which is not an insult. Yeah, yo, man, that actually is what that is. Well, that would be okay. Like totally, yo, man would be, and you could say that to a woman though. You can be like, yo, man, what's up? It's not. It's not a. So there's, and then bro, I'm out of the loop on bro, because I think I'm too old. So calling someone bro seems very strange to me, but I know that everyone calls everyone bro. But so that when I was younger, you would ironically call people bro. So if you said like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" it wouldn't it wouldn't you wouldn't be seriously calling someone bro. But now everyone calls everyone bro. So like back to like it's kind of like the guy thing, but not with a negative connotation. So it's like, "Hey, what's up, bro?" and everyone would kind of laugh because it's ironic. But now everyone just uses it. So now I don't know when you're supposed to use it, so I just don't use bro. Um, you use English greetings even if you're not going to speak English. That's interesting. Like, yo, man. Yo, man, ça va? So I think I've heard that. I think that sounds like something we would say here too. Like, ça va is how are you, right? Yo, man, ça va? So there's a lot of Spanish too that's mixed in. I don't know if ça va is Spanish, but yeah. So there's a lot of Spanish that's mixed in. Not so much in Oregon. Oregon is like, very white people, but in San Diego, there's like just Spanish is thrown in. Chonies, that's like underwear. You're like, why would that come up? Because the chonies is used all the time. It's very similar to Spanish. What does ça va mean in Spanish? Let me look. I gotta always double check. My Spanish is terrible. Translate. All right, I'm gonna take a break after this, though. Get this shit out of my face. We want the other way. Switch. Spanish. That's it. All right. I don't know. All right, I'm gonna take a quick break though, and then I'm gonna be back, and we're gonna continue on here, and I won't get sidetracked yammering about the word like, or maybe I will. Let's see. So I was about to say that it's probably in Spanish the term that I'm thinking of is not spelled SAVA. It's probably not even close to that. Like. Yeah, that's interesting too. So I took a couple of Spanish classes when I was in high school, and I didn't learn any Spanish because I was just fucking around. But the Spanish from Spain, I know you're not talking about Spanish, but the Spanish from Spain versus Spanish from Mexico, Latin America, is completely different. And then also how they write, how people in languages write things and then use it in slang. And once again, I know you're not talking about Spanish, but with the little C. I don't know what that thing's called that's below. The C with the thing below it. But the C, that's definitely not Spanish. Anyways, I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in less than 5 minutes. Let me throw up my break timer, and I'm going to stop my music that you guys can't hear, and I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Let me restart that and turn off my break timer here. And then the future, like future tense. There's also like the hanger on words. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but where they're just like garbage words. Like is actually used that way too. Like is such a crazy word. I don't even know how it became part of the lexicon to the point where it's used for everything. We're at check for preferred work and county. We need to make sure that there's enough stockpile for each improvement and then each county population. Okay. All right. So I did an edit on there. We're getting the stockpiling amount. Now, and I turned off my break timer. We got to go back to this check for preferred work, which I think is where we were at, but let's go from the top actually and go through and make sure we're doing this right. Because we did a lot of changes here. So this is the first thing. So on day start, the county, this is at the county level. We need each county to go through their completed improvements and gather these things. But we have a problem already. We need to gather first for prioritized stuff. And so what we could do, so let's go back to this and look down here. How are we doing this? This is preferred work, check for construction, check for any work. So these are assigning the people. We need to do this for first. We need 2 loops of this, basically. Prioritize work comes first. Whew. I'm gonna while get this is, and I mean I'm not Czechoslovakian. Is that what you speak? I'm just going from the letters, and it's wild. I don't know. I could be way off. I'm guessing. So let's see. This is a problem though. We have Romance language. Oh, so it is not a Slavic. Oh, well then I'm way off. Let's see here. Romance. I never really thought about the term. I probably have, but not recently. Romance language. It is, chicks do find romance languages romantic. That's speaking. There's another term that I don't think young people use anymore. Is chick. I don't know if I think it's probably gone from the Southern California lexicon too. But I was watching a video or something, and of a younger person, and they were like, no one uses chick anymore, and I was like, what? I do all the time. Yeah, yeah, chick, like a baby bird, like a baby chicken. But it means woman. Uh, it's probably a slur, and I don't even know it. If it is, I'm sorry. All right, so we need to go through. Chick is like a girlfriend, like your girlfriend or someone's girlfriend. Oh, there's like 50 ways of saying. Shorty is one. That's another term that I'm too old to use though. But I guess shorty could also be used as just woman. I don't know. There's the slang. You can go down the slang road and blonde. For girlfriend or just woman? So what we need to do is we need to go down, and so we need to do for each one of these, if county improvement data dot prioritized, it was there, is equal to true, then we do this. Then we're going to KD that crap. We're going to do another one of these. And then this is going to be false because we don't want to do, we want this to go first. And there's probably a better way to do this too. Let's ask ChatGPT. Make this better, ChatGPT. Make this better. Single loop. Well, it's missing the point though. It needs to do those first. If the logic within the is supposed to handle priors differently based on, you should handle logic inside. Oh, okay. All right. No, you're right. You're right, ChatGPT, you piece of shit. No. I'm all right, so we'll do this. Or maybe he's not right. Marble, right? How is that game? That game definitely did not look. So all of a sudden, out of nowhere, everyone was talking about Marble Rivals, and I was like, man, I should check out that game. And then I looked at it, and I was like, this game is not for me. So it's going through this. What is this? If else is prioritized. It just needs to do the prioritized county improvements first. Let's see. But what do you think? Do you like it? Oh, look at all those VARs. You can separate the listen to prioritize and non. Oh, okay. So we would do it for each. It's using a var. If you're not using link, I don't think I can use link because I'm using, well, I would have to change it into. Okay, so I order, that's a good idea, actually, because I want to do as many, I want to reduce the number of loops if possible. All right, so what is this thing? Order by descending. Let's see what this is. What is this? Let's go back to here. I don't think this is going to work because of something. Okay, it is going to work. Do I have a link at the top already? I do, but it's not. It said this is without. I was assuming this wouldn't work because of the type of list this is. This is a Godot collection. All right, so let's comment this out because we don't want it to do it twice. And then let's put a note what this is. Let's move this thing over. Not that far. T, well, that's not a T. Is that a, oh, their law? I have no idea. Do you guys do, when you greet people, we were talking about this on my Discord. When you greet people, strangers or acquaintances, do you ask how they're doing? So I always, like you can say, hey man, hey guy, hey man, how are you? But you don't really care. You don't actually want them to tell you. Descending order. All right, let's see if this works. It's gonna be hard to test this too. We're gonna have to assume. sorts the list first by prioritize, then gathers the stockpiled goods. Written by ChatGPT. So that looks more like French to me. The defaire. My parents speak French, and I don't. So there's another missed opportunity of mine. My parents speak French. My mom did. Well, a couple years ago, got her Canadian citizenship. Where I'm, French Canadian. She actually told me that recently Canada changed their laws, and I could get my French citizenship because I'm a descendant of someone who was born in Canada. Sorry, did I say French citizenship? Like Canadian citizenship. So we're just gonna have to hope right now that this is working right. Yeah, Canadian citizenship. I'm trying to think how we would do this without, how we could do this. Let's rerun this. No, it's not gonna. We're not gonna be able to tell. No, I guess we will be able to tell. We'll build two Fisher sheds, and we won't be able to click it fast enough. So what we'll do, we need to change something here. If we set, this to like 15, not 154, to 15, then we won't have enough for 2. Oh, we gotta rerun this. Then we'll build 2 Fisher sheds. We'll prioritize the second one. And we'll hope that we have enough people to employ constructing both of them. I guess we can prioritize this one first, but I don't think it's going to stay checked. I think that was a thing I wanted to have happen, where it doesn't stay checked. But they did both finish. So this one, our prioritize button's missing. Well, that's a problem. We got all sorts of problems here. We got construct button. This shouldn't be here. This is busted. Something broke, and I probably just noticed it. It's probably because we messed with it's probably on low. Let's see here. Let's go to the status, because we haven't put in a thing for the low production status, so it probably didn't update the thing right, which is okay, but we might have grabbed the resources, so we can check that. We need to be in remote. We need to be on the shipbirds. We need to be county's faction zone. We need to be in Portland. This is such a completed. Stockpile goods. They got 5 on 1. So this is the first one, got 5. The second one got 10. So that actually worked, even though the other thing is busted. What is their status? Yeah, see, prioritize is still on. I think maybe I did leave that. I thought I had that set so it would turn off after construction, but maybe I changed my mind about that. Where's status in this thing? It seems like status should be there. It is. It's 4. Thanks. 4. 1 or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it's on low. The other one should also probably be on low. I mean, it definitely should be on low. So let's see. It should be 4 as well. Okay, so that's the problem. We just need to put in this container thing, which is right here. We have this switch. So we know that the status, okay, it's not here. That's the control. We need the container. We need this switch. Wait, I'm no longer there, so you'll go there? In what context? I'm assuming and that's not literal, like you'll go there. All right, we don't have it. We need to add the switch thing here. We need a case. In research panel? No, that is right. Producing. So next we're gonna add in. Actually, let's put it after producing. Low stockpile goods. Is this gonna show different? I don't think this is actually gonna show different. So let's put, right now it's not, but we need that up there. Let's just put both these. And let's put a note in here. Yeah, so my parents speak like, my mom's obviously, because, she grew up speaking French, speaks the most French in the family. My stepdad speaks a little bit of French, but then they also both speak some Spanish. And then there's me who just speaks English. Like, I didn't learn any extra. My mom was saying that, so I called her yesterday and she accidentally hung up on me and she said that she was writing a letter in Spanish and she was concentrating and looking at her phone to look up a Spanish word or something, and that's how she accidentally hung up on me. So like, I didn't even know that she had the capability to write. I knew she could speak it, but I guess she could also write it. It's a whole different ball game there. Yeah. Of Quebec French. So I say this all the time. This is my French Canadian relatives. What is the name of that movie? Amelie. I think it's with an A, or maybe it's an E. Amelie movie. There, not that one. It was there. It appeared for a second. So in this movie, is there images? I don't want to see the person. I want to see all the other cast. Well, if you ever seen that movie, all of like the other cast members, they all look like my relatives. Like watching that movie, it's like, Jesus Christ, my relatives look like identical to all of the people in that movie. Same with that other movie too. Delicatessen. It was there. Delicatessen, but I want the movie. Get out of here. Get out of here. Movie. This one too. It was the same thing. All the people. Let's see. None of these pictures are gonna help me. Like that guy. That guy kind of looks like Mr. Bean. This dude especially. This dude especially looks like all my relatives, my French Canadian relatives. But I haven't seen them in like 20 years because it's kind of they're distant relatives at this point. Anyways, what the fuck was I doing? All right, so we're gonna put this here. I need to put in a note. I think currently low stockpiled goods status is the same, but it will probably change because we're gonna need. We'll put a note in. We're gonna need to tell the player that add a label that shows that the building is in low goods status to, let's just copy this this thing and put it here. Period. Yeah, when I was 19, I went to Montreal and met all my relatives up there. Not all of them. So English, French, and then which is the third one? Move to top. No, I didn't want this. I didn't want this to move top. I want to move it to the next round. We're not going to do it. We got to keep, once again, we got to keep focused and not get too sidetracked on stuff like this. I can't scroll down while I'm holding that, I guess. It doesn't like it. Now it will work. Next round. There we go. All right, so back to this. That seems to be working. So let's go back to our county thing. Sorts the list first by prioritizing and gathers the stockpile written by. Okay. And that seems to be working. So we can just delete this. German, I dated a girl that was learning German, and what was it? It's ich liebe dich. There's one I hit you and I love you was the ickadish and ich liebe dich. I don't know. It's been 20 years, 30 years, 30 years. That was like the joke that they're very similar, but not really. That's all the German I know. I used to also know some sign language, but I used to know how to say I love you in sign language too. All right, so we gather all the goods, and then we do, so this is where we kind of were, and then I had to jump to the other part. Check for prioritized improvements, under construction. This is the same thing. Okay, so we check for the status, and this is going to work. So if the low stockpile goods is false, then it adds people. So that's good. So we don't want to. If it's true, they shouldn't be getting hired, even if it's prioritized, because they don't have the goods to hire. Yeah, and it's going to be the 2 days worth. So I think that works. We don't care about that. And then we look at their preferred work for each completed county improvement. Oh, we have in here, if they're low stockpiled, check if improvement wants workers, if they do not want workers, or if they're low status. They don't have a built-in thing? So we have some employees in Mexico, and their keyboards are different, and I remote into their computers all the time. And backslash, I'm going to actually type it in. That slash right there is in a different spot on their keyboard. And it's in a spot that it's weird for them, because I'm always like, no, it's not that. And a lot of times I have to copy and paste it and send it to them in chat. So this is if it just skips this county improvement. So that's right. Let's copy this thing, though, because I have a feeling we're going to be adding this in. We'll save that. So then check for construction, check for any work. If they want, so this is the same thing. Whoa, except we want this down here. And then, so if it's low stockpile goods, they're not going to hire until that gets fixed. Okay. Then we go check for scavenging food, check for scavenging resources, count idle workers. I'm going to put a note right here because I always look at this and wonder why we're counting that. Then this is for the player UI mostly. So then that's the day's start. Now we need to go. This is different. That's something else we're going to have to look at later. Do I have that on my list? You know what? Let's not even worry about it. Let's just keep going. Okay, workday over. So now we've set it so that they're not hiring anybody. But now we need to. Is there a better way to do this? So now we need to have like, so the workday is over for the person. But, well, we need to do two things. So we need to do the supply work per person. Look at all these commented out. Oh, this is just a GD print. We need to. Basically, we need to spend the stockpiled goods now. But we need to do it for each individual person who's working because they could run out of goods. And then if there's no goods for them to do anything with, that's when we start using that. We start keeping track in the county population of how long they've sat there without goods. And then if they run out of goods, you know, if they occasionally get goods, they'll still be employed there. But if they for 7 days don't have any goods, then they're going to quit that job and they'll get a new job. So it's probably in here that we need to do this. Return the work amount for a single person that should be subtracted from the resource cost. What the fuck? Oh, I was like, what is this? This should be probably, where is this? The banker? This should also probably be in population work. Do I have that open? Oh, I do. It's right here. I moved some stuff around. And we were moving things out of the banker so the banker. Suki, what were you working on again? I remember you told me that like yesterday or last weekend, but I've already forgotten because I have a terrible memory. We were trying to. The banker had like a bazillion things in it, so we're breaking these up into smaller scripts. So like the hall master deals with hauling shit and cargo and goods and stuff, and the banker counts certain things. But I don't think it should. Then we also have population work, which we probably could have just called work. I think we need to move this. Yeah, generate work amount with skill check. It has the word work in it. Let's move this to population work while we're here. There's probably a reason why it was over there. We can do that. And then let's save this. And so I think, well, I don't want to add it to this. I like that this is just like a generate work amount type thing. I don't want to. I was thinking about adding the cost and all that in there. So I think what we need to do is before we apply this, what is this thing doing? So we are passing in county data, which is not used. So let's get that out of here. So we're passing in a county population, and we're applying the work. So this is the end of the day. Which I think is fine. I was trying to think, like, do we need to go from the beginning of the day? Like, at the beginning of the day, should we set a, at the beginning of the day, should we set, like, a second list of people who are idle? But I think we can just do it at the end of the day. And I think we're going to have this separate, because building is going to be different. Building, all of the goods are at the beginning. You have to have all the goods at the beginning, and it's built. So what I think we're going to need to do is break these into two things. But that's kind of why we set this way, is because it was easy to do, and we can just have this. Keep working at county population. See, this is going to be weird too. We're going to have to change this all up, but that's okay. And we're going to keep trying to break things down into smaller and smaller chunks. That's the goal here, is to make this less spaghetti and more, what's a pasta that's short? That's little chunks. Linguine? No, that's also a long, I don't know. So let's write in what we need to check here as comments, and then we'll figure it out. We need to first check and, hey, Lord Mac, how's it going? Fusili, is that a short one? Yeah, there we go. It's spirally though. No, that makes sense. That works with. It's short but a mess. That's a spirally mess. All right, so we need to check and spend stockpiled goods per person. Then, see, this is back to that looping shit though, where we're gonna have to loop through. Oh, this is just one. We're already in the loop per person, so that's okay. That's fine. Where the fuck were we? I'm lost. Check and spend. All right. So this is going per person, so we don't need this per person in here. We were just talking about languages, Lord Mac, and colloquialisms, and how words are misunderstood a lot of times. I don't even know where we went. We went all over the place. But languages, I started out yammering about the word like because I talk like a valley girl. Check and spend stockpile goods. Comma, if there isn't enough of a stockpiled good, then if there isn't enough of stockpiled, then work should not be applied, and the time till a person quits is added. It is. People misunderstand stuff a lot of times, and my mom used to always say like, "Oh, that person's projecting," and I see that a lot actually, where people take what they think you're meaning from their perspective, and they're projecting their weirdness on it sometimes, and so you say something and uh, they misconstrue it because they're projecting their own insecurities or whatever on there. I'm trying to think of an example. There's something I feel like this happened the other day. So it's very common that IT guys are dickheads. Like that's a stereotype that's pretty true, that IT guys are just assholes. And I'm an IT guy. And so I feel like people are often very like standoffish and like a little worried about contacting me at work because they assume I'm going to be an asshole. And then when I'm not, they're confused and they often like, all right, like I'll do it that way next time, like all defensive. And I'm like, I don't give a shit if you do it that way next time, like, um, uh, oh, definitely. That's another thing. Back to it's like it ties in with the IT thing too, is that I can tell when someone's looking because I'm not in there with them in the same room. I'm remotely helping them. I can tell when someone's looking at their phone and responding, and so they're not paying attention, and they often they do not, since they're not listening, they don't they don't get what I'm saying at all. Sometimes they'll be like, yeah, sure, and I'm like, no, this isn't a yes or no question. That actually happens a lot with text too. I feel like text, there's something missing a lot where people read it quickly. It's reading comprehension. It's not an either or. It's not a yes no question. I need an answer question and I get a yes no answer. Yeah, and then it goes downhill when everyone's confused about what everyone's saying. And then, we were talking about like Spanish in Mexico, or I was talking about Spanish in Mexico versus Spanish in Spain, and it's like slightly different. And so there's things that can be thrown off, like that kind of easy misunderstanding because it means a slightly different thing, especially because we were also talking about slang. And so this is actually going to the misunderstanding. So I was saying that the word guy from when I'm from Southern California is kind of an insult, but up here in Oregon, there's a few people who use it just as like dude. Is the same meaning as dude, so it can be easily misconstrued, like as an insult. If someone calls me guy, I know, because I'm not in Southern California, that they're not being insulting, but to me, I'm like, in my head, I'm like, that guy's being so insulting. Yeah, communication is definitely hard. That's why if we ever run into aliens, it's not going to be like most movies portray it, where they're easily communicated with. I like, so in science fiction, because I'm a big science fiction fan, I like when the aliens are so different from humans that we can hardly understand anything about them. One of the best examples, so there's a lot, there's the thing, there's like that paradox why we haven't run into aliens yet. Like, with the size of the universe, whatever, we should have ran into aliens by now. And one of the reasons is that the hypothesis reasons is that we have, or we could, but we didn't recognize that they were another intelligent species. And the best example that I've heard of that is that there's like the type of intelligence that it's so different than ours that it's just an intelligent shade of blue. And I know you're like, well, how the fuck would that work? That's the whole point, is that it would be so different from ours, how we perceive intelligence, that then we would just paint over it, because we don't know what it is. Yeah. They'd have to have us figured out and infiltrate. Well, we don't know that they're smarter than that. What if they're a bunch of dumb shits? You know, like what happens if they're like cats? They could be moving. They are. They could be cats. There's the theory that cats are aliens that are here to observe us. My cat. Oh, he went outside. My cat is. I feel like sometimes he's just observing me. I'll be working away here, and I'll look. I'll slowly turn and I'll look, and he'll just be watching me. Um, well, there's. When you say you believe in aliens, that doesn't necessarily mean that you believe in UFO, flying saucer, gray aliens. You know. Um, but more like other planets have evolved intelligence, life. I would hope so. It'd be kind of disappointing if we were the only intelligent life in the whole universe, in the whole existence, all of existence. Because we're kind of also off to the side, you know, in the Milky Way. Uh, check and spin goods. If there isn't enough of a stockpile good, then the work should not be applied in the time till a person quit is added. There's that guy. I'm trying to think of his name. He wrote the book Communion, which is actually a pretty good book. You should read it if you are into that type of thing. But it's an alien abduction story. Whitley Strieber, there's his name. He wrote a bunch of them, but I don't think he actually was abducted by aliens. He says that he was, but he's also turns out that he's kind of a liar. He's a sci-fi author. He made up some stories about his life that were not true, and then it sounds like he might have some mental health issues. So that's a common thing, though, that obviously the aliens are going to be smarter because that's how they got here. There's a good, I think it's Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle. It's called Footfall. It's about footfall, not football. Footfall. I say that because whenever I have ever told anybody to read this book, they say it's called football. Footfall. They're about these aliens that land, that invade Earth, and they look like baby elephants, and they're not smarter than us. It's just that they found some other aliens technology. Oh, spoilers! They found some other aliens technology, if I remember correctly, and they use that technology to get to Earth. And I might be combining two books, so maybe it isn't a spoiler. Maybe it's a red herring. But yeah, we always assume that they got to be smarter because they got here, but maybe they just figured something out on accident. I don't actually think humans are that smart though either. So maybe who knows? It's yeah. I would like to see aliens in my lifetime, but I don't think that I'm gonna. I was hoping when I was younger, I had more hope in it. It's still small, and I'm not talking about like the gray aliens landing. I'm talking about something crazy like Star Trek aliens. It'd be interesting. I know everyone's talking about these drones. I don't know if you guys have heard about this, but if chat has heard about this, there's these drones flying around, and everyone says that they're aliens. They're not aliens, but everyone's like, it's aliens. Aliens using drones. All right, so check and spin the stockpile goods. If there isn't enough of a stockpile good, so what we need to do, this is happening per person. Let's just write it here. We'll break it into things, and we'll figure it out here. So we need to do if I was trying to think of the best way to do this, but let's just write it and then we'll make it better, like always. So we need to find, once again, it's the input good, and we need to go through each input good again. There's got to be a better way to do this. Right, exactly. Exactly. They infiltrated us to buy our drones. Yeah. Um, and the balloons. Remember the balloons? Like I feel like it was last year, but maybe it was like 3 years ago. But there was this balloons, and everyone's like, "Oh, somebody." No, I think everyone blamed that on China, and I don't remember what the outcome was, but it was the possible aliens, the balloons that were floating around. The other thing that it's always, yeah, I was looking at like the UFO subreddit, and they were talking about these crashed UFOs. Joker, how's it going? Um, they were talking about crashed UFOs, and I just started thinking about like, what are the UFO the aliens that came to visit are crashing all the time? Are they fucking drunk? Like, why are they crashing? Why? If they have the technology to get here, then they're like, whoa, it's a planet. Ah! Like there's something wrong if they're crashing all the time. I like, shouldn't it be extremely rare that they're crashing? I mean, oh, maybe they're all shot down by our primitive Earth weapons. Like, there is this. So back to this, my love of sci-fi. There's this crazy book that is about this. Uh, what do they call it? Investigative journalist who, I think it's like the 70s, who starts to look into like what happened to some of the Nazis that escaped from Germany and went to Argentina. And he finds out that UFOs are actually Nazis. So it's a pretty insane, but it's kind of like a fun read. So the UFOs were starting, these like Nazi experiments, and the reason why they, the gray aliens, the grays as they call them, are actually like humans that have been not modified by Nazis and like plugged into the machines, and that's why they're crashing all the time, is because they're like this. They're actually just like different Earth technology, so they're not like better. They're just like different Earth technology that the Nazis invented, and then they had this secret program, and like certain Nazis like left to go live in Antarctica, and they launched these UFOs to go, and that's why they're abducting people. I don't know, but it's dumb, but it's also kind of fun. But yeah, that's why they're crashing all the time. It's because it's bad Nazi technology. Was there a movie about that too? It could have been based on the movie. I don't even. I remember the book was pretty thick for what it's. I just summarized the whole book in like 3 sentences, so it didn't need to be that. I think I'm gonna another spoilers. I think the protagonist dies in the end. Did the Wolfenstein had that? Yeah, so that's like a common, so the book was written as if it was true. Like it's obviously fiction, but they was trying to portray that it's true. All right, so who's Christopher, Joker? Christopher who? So I have this on my thing. We got to do this. But we're going to make this its own method. So we're going to go, but we're going to do, we're not going to make it its own method right now. County population. Current county improvement dot. Is this a data? This is a data, so we can get this out of here. For each one of these, I feel like there's got to be a better way to do this instead of go through this loop for every single person, but I guess we got to. Oh, I remember that. In that had like some crazy. What was the name of that? I remember me and my friends like laughing and thinking that, wanting to see it. Nazi moon base movie. Iron Sky is the one I was thinking of. And I think. Why does Wikipedia always have the shittiest pictures? It's a comedy. Good God, man. Nazi moon base? That is not. It's definitely Iron Skies. Yeah, 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 yeah. It was this one, but I remember we were thinking it would be funny, but it was just budget. Mid is the term I think people use now. All right, so we really got to go through this with every single person in every single thing, huh? Well, I guess that's what we got to do for right now. So for each input good, we need this. And then this can go up here. I feel like there's got to be a better way to do this. So because this is like kind of a lot of data to have to. So we know the amount of input good. We know the amount of stockpile goods, but the input goods is the amount we need to check against because we need to see if, well, let's just write it all shitty and then we'll go back, like I keep saying. If we'll go like the same thing we did before. Good data. I think that's what this is. It's a dictionary of good datas, yeah. No, we have it right there. If input good dot amount, or sorry, key is greater than or equal to, that's not an equal. Stockpile goods. What did we call this shit? Stock county stockpile. Let's do this different. Come on. County improvement data. County improvement data equals this. And we make this a little smaller so that we don't have so much crap. And this. Data. I watched that, there was that, was it called Contact? There was some alien movie, aliens come to Earth movie recently that at the beginning seemed pretty good. It's always, back to maybe humans aren't very intelligent. Every one of these movies, there's some point in the movie where everyone starts to acting like a dumb shit. And it's annoying. And that's what happened in this. I think this movie was somewhat of a hit, but it's the thing. We're gonna do input good. This is wrong. This is value. The key dot. All right, we'll move this down here. I was trying to make this shorter, but key county good type. So this is number, and this is a number, if this value is greater than this, I'm gonna take a quick break. I gotta like reset my brain with a cigarette, I think. So let me put up my break timer, and let me put up stop my music that you guys can't hear, and I will be right back. Okay, let's see. I'm back, and let me turn off my break timer. Man, that one was long. I tried to find the book that I was talking about, and I don't remember if I still own it because it had a bunch of water damage, so I can't remember if I threw it out. A bunch of my books had a bunch of water damage, and I only kept some of them. And that book was pretty not good. The one I was talking about was the one I was trying to find was the aliens take over, aliens or Nazis book. All right, what the fuck were we doing here? I'm shaking my camera by itching my arm. Okay, if the input value is greater than the county stockpiled, we are going to apply work per person, but then we're also going to we're going to do all of this actually. But we're also going to subtract input good value from stockpile. So we're going to go this, and we're going to do minus equals input good value. Yep. So that will well, it's one in this case. It's one wood out of there. And then we'll apply the work. We'll check their learning, and then we'll do this keep. This needs to have a change, though. Check loyalty to see if they still want to work there, and if they don't, then they get set to idle. We need to add... No, actually, that stays the same. Let's put a space in here, though, just for fun. And we're going to put this probably its own method. We're just going to write all this stuff out, and then we'll figure it out whenever there. And this is for all of the input goods. This isn't right, because if there's more than one input good... Damn it, this is that same thing. We're going to have some temporary variable here. Let's go with a bool for now. Enough input goods. So this will, what we'll do here is we will cut this and we'll stick it down here just temporarily. Well, now you don't know what that is, huh? All right, we'll stick it down here temporarily. I guess it doesn't matter. Enough in false. We'll start it out with false. Equals, we'll start out with true. Right? So if this, let's actually just start it as nothing. If, I mean, it defaults to false if I remember correctly. If we have enough of those, we do enough input goods equals true. Oh, this is that thing, though. This is that thing. Okay, this is the thing like the thing we just did. The thing with the thing. Each equals true. If this is less than... So if there isn't enough input goods, we make this false. And then down here, so it's going to go through all of these, and man, but then we have to go through them all again and delete it. Thing. Yeah, you know, all the drinking that I did, I think has damaged my brain. So I can't think of words sometimes, so I use thing instead. And it's not very helpful because thing isn't very descriptive. I've been playing some first-person shooters with my friends, like online, and I'm on like, yeah, it's behind the thing. That's the thing over there. And they're like, that's not, it's not good. I don't want to go through this twice. I don't want to go through all of the input goods twice. So what we'll do, but we need to kind of, it's kind of the same thing that we just wrote though, but with checking different things. Where was that? That was in the Hall Master. How did we just do this? Oh, we did a min. That's not going to do us any good. So I'm trying to think of a way we could do this. And if chat, if you have any ideas, tell me. So let's say they need three input goods. That means that they can employ 3 people. But let's say they need 3 of, either like, so there's 5 people and you need 1 of each input good. Oh, this isn't going to work. No, that is going to work. But then the next one down so there's 2 input goods. One's wood and one's iron, let's say. And you need 3 wood, and there's 5 people working there, so 1 of each. But like sometimes it's 2. There might be 2 iron. Trying to describe this is actually surprisingly difficult. So each person, you need 5 people. You need enough goods for 5 people, but you only have enough for 3. So you have for 3 of one person, or for 3 wood, which they need 1 wood of each, and then but you only have 2 iron, but so you only have enough for 2, but the value is not always going to be 1. That makes sense? That doesn't make any sense. All right. I'll have to write this a different way. I'll have to write it down. That'll make more sense. So if the stockpile is greater than the value, for the first, let's just write this all terrible, and then we'll have ChatGPT look at it again one more time. It worked last time. All right, so first things first, we'll get rid of this. No, we won't. If this is less than the stockpile for the first thing, so it's going through all of the input goods. If the input good value is less than the stockpile, we have not enough goods. Then we go through it again. And once again, we're not going to do this. We're going to go through the input goods again. We're going to tell ChatGPT to, I guess I could just copy this, make this better. And then we're going to go through this again. And this is per person, remember. Then we're going to do this stuff. But we need to check it the opposite. So we're going to put this thing, no. Oh, Jesus Christ. This is per person. So we're going to say if enough input goods is equal to true, then we go and we do this. Whoops. For each input good. Let me think that if this works. So it's going to go through the input goods. And it's going to check all of them, make sure that there's enough. And the reason why we need to check all of them ahead of time is because there might be enough of one, but not enough of another. And if there's not enough of another, the person can't work there. Or they're not going to be spending it. Then it's going to go through again, because we don't want it to spend like some of it. and then not enough for the next thing. And it's going to go through again, and it's going to apply this stuff. We still need to... This, though... What's your problem up here? There is no return. There's probably no break. Yeah, what's going on down here? We got kind of a lot of spaces. This equals false, and then we also need to add in the county population. What was the number that we did? It was like idle work, employed days idle, plus equals 1. So there's not enough goods, so this person is going to be idle. But we're not going to kick them to idle yet, because we're gonna wait for 7 days of they're gonna stay working there for 7 days before they go somewhere else. So let's go through this again and make sure that this logic is sound before we copy and paste it into ChatGPT and see if they can make it better. Check and spin stockpile goods. If there isn't enough of stockpile good, then work should not be applied, and the time till that person quits is added. So we go through all of the input goods, and if any of them is less than the stockpile amount, we say false. If enough input goods equals true, then we do this. We subtract the stockpiled amount, we apply the work, we check the skill, and we keep working at county improvement. That's a different check. This check should be in a different spot. This one should be at the bottom, because this is a different thing. What does this do? It removes them, make active idle, and removes them from the county improvement. Now, will that bug out if they're already removed? Well, we'll not worry about it right now. We'll wait for the bugging out to happen later. So let's go back to this. And let's copy this case and tell ChatGPT to make this better. Can you make this better? Simplified logic. Whoa, what are you doing? What is this, an advertisement? Translate to, what is this? Get out of my face. Why did this just pop up? Get out of my face. How do I close you? Got it. Get out of here. All right. Why did this get all huge? Retrieve. So this does look better though. Retrieve the county improvement. Check if there's enough inputs to proceed with work. I thought you said you made this better. This looks the same. Is this trigger skill learning? Process work related processes. What do you say over here? Here's a revised version that simplifies, reduces redundancy, enhances readability, or maintaining its functionality. A single response for input goods. Consolidates the input goods check to exit early break when any good. Oh. Okay. Perfect. Oh, and then yeah. Plus. Yeah, no shit. Sometimes So it didn't do that. It's not that different. What's the hotkey for comment? Visual Studio Code hotkey for comment. Comment align. Control / because I'm already have everything hot. Oh, what if I do it again? Does it go away? All right, we'll just remember how that works. We'll wonder what the hell that is in 10 minutes. And then let's put in this other case. This is going to be a problem with build. Build needs its own thing now. So let's, now that I did all these changes, let's pull, can we open up this old one? I want you copy. I've never actually done this, but this is what I want to be here. And then we can close this one somehow. Get out of here. How do we close this? Like that. Let's make sure. So what's your problem here? Oh, right. We got rid of the county data because it wasn't necessary. All right. So build is going to be its own thing. But luckily we have that in there like that because that's easier. Okay. I don't know how well we're doing here. I can tell my attention span is fading too. I should keep talking about sci-fi books or something. I keep saying that, well, I haven't said it in a long time, but that I should do like a just chatting thing and just yammer about sci-fi because I like talking to people about science fiction books. And most of my friends are not into talking about science fiction books that much. Not as much as me, at least. One of my coworkers does a little bit. But he's all into the new sci-fi. I'm in the old sci-fi, 70s sci-fi. All right, we're just looking for any bugs here. Oh, yeah, we never even checked that other thing. We just assumed it worked. Look at all these people at the bottom doing the building. Don't know why. Was it prioritized that was fucking shit up? I think it was prioritized. Oh my god, we don't even have the use remnants thing. We might kick that to the next run. I have no idea how we're going to check if this works. We have 0 wood. We didn't have enough to keep going, so, and I don't have any comments or anything to help us know if, I guess we could, try to look to see who, if there's anybody unemployed. Let's go to here, let's go to here, let's go to here, then to here. This is really buried. To here, and I don't even know if we have the people who work. Here we do. Here we do. Let's check this last person. 0 employed days idle is 0. It shouldn't be 0. It should be. Look, their last name isn't exported. That's strange. None of this crap is exported. Can we export that? That's a loop, by the way. Wonder why. Because it was a public class. It was a public class. We couldn't export it, but it is now. It's a whatchamacallit now. Look, that's already a Godot thing. And look, I put a group. I put a group in there, and then like there's no way for us to see the thing. Sometimes, man. Can I just tab through this? Why did you skip this one? Because it's read-only? Is that what your problem was? Needs? Yeah, we want to see that. Why? How would this have worked with this export group? I sometimes question myself, my past self. Used for work and building. Yeah. Select token, that's an old thing. All right, so we just added export to all this stuff. We haven't gotten any errors. It's weird. But what was I looking for? Oh, I just noticed that their last name wasn't shown. So this doesn't look right to me. So we have people working here. They don't have enough goods is the thing. Let's let it run for like another day or two. All right, so then let's go back to this. Let's go back. I know. Oh, there's only 2 people working here now. Well, that's weird. Because it's on low. It's on low resources, but we didn't let enough time pass for the people to quit. So they must be slowly missing like their loyalty checks and stuff. I don't remember who was working there. But since you're loyalty checking daily, it's probably bouncing people sooner than it should be. So and then they're not rehiring because they're out of stuff. So at least that works. Maybe we should take that loyalty check out and move it, or have it only happen weekly. Because if we did the loyalty check weekly, that actually wouldn't be that difficult to do either. Well, I say that now. Let's rerun this and see. Aha! Aha! I knew it couldn't be that easy. What does this error say? Type not derived should not be exported. What is a select token? It's been so long that I've looked at select token. It's going to be under something. This is a character body 2D. That's a node, man. Don't give me that shit. It's interesting that this doesn't. Oh, because this used to be, it couldn't be. We're going to have to save all this stuff too. Can we put this and export on this? I'm just preparing myself for when we start writing the saves things. This is a character body 2D. Type not derived should not be export node member. It's weird that I had put in these groups without exports on them. Maybe I didn't know what I was doing. That would That would be quite possible here. No, I just want it to shut up. I just want it to be here without the thing, but if I hit tab, you're going to add the export, man. And then if I go like that, this doesn't go back there. What do you want me to use? Spaces? Get the fuck out of here. IntelliSense has gone mad. KD say, oh, there we go. We did it with KD. Control KD. I use that all the time. And here's a bool that probably needs a. Oh no, this is not a bool. This is we're returning a bool. We're good. All right, let's do this again here. And see what happens. We made a lot of progress though today. Not like yesterday or last Sunday. Good progress. Let's look at this logic again. I'm having a feeling something's wrong with this. That was under population work. I think what's happening actually is they're getting canned. They're getting canned. Let's go to here. I'm going to comment this out actually, just for a second. That's a different, and we probably do want that to be like a weekly check instead of a daily check because it's just too much. They're checking their loyalty all the time and they just quit their job. They're gonna, you know, with that many, you know, as a percentage, it's a D100 roll. They're going to be quitting eventually. And I kind of liked it originally because it would make people kind of bounce around a little bit, but I don't think it's working how I was intended. So we have these people working here, and we should be out of wood, which we are because we had 15 to start with. Let's let one more day pass. And let's check these people. So they're all still working there. So now we can go back to our remote. I need to put some like offline time into this. Well, it would be nice if I did that. What are we doing? Counties, faction owns, Portland. Completed county improvements. Population. The old guy. Look at all this stuff we can see now. Stephanie Haywire. We're looking for... This is still 0. It's possible... Why won't you go back? That is a different person got that. No, they're all 0. So something's failing over here. If the input value is greater than the stockpile amount, employed days idle, plus. If input good.value, oh, this would happen twice though. If there was 2 input goods, it would hit this. Oh, but it breaks that. It breaks it, so it would only happen. It would only happen once. Why isn't this applying to this person? Who is this person that we're passing in here? Can we tell with this remote if this is a different person? Jonathan Lopez, eh? There you are, and you're working at the Fisher Shed 1. Got a high loyalty. Stockpile amount equals the county stockpile goods of that dictionary. GD print. Stockpile amounts versus county. What does this say underneath here? Get out of here. Input good. Input good versus stockpile amounts. Squigs. Squigs. Quote. Semicolon. Restart. Wonder what we're doing wrong. They should all have a number of days at that point. It's probably something silly. It's always something silly. All right, that's been built. Available 5, stockpiled 10. So that's the first day. The day hasn't ended yet, though. Versus. We have no verses here. Maybe this check isn't happening. Are you guys working here? Oh, you're all scavenging. What? Now you're working here. We need Portland. We have 15 stockpiled. So we need another day to pass here. Versus. All right, so it's counting down. So the input good should always be 1 because it's 1. I think do we have a county improvement or we have a population here? Let's put a squigs here and county population dot location. This will just give us a better idea because we got a couple of things and the AI is building something, so it's hard to tell what the fuck's going on here. Hopefully we're not back to they're all the same dictionary. I'll kill myself if that happens. just kidding. All right, here we go. That's built. Day 2. Everybody's working there. There we go. We are in... Actually, we know that this is working because otherwise it would continue from 11. 1, I think we're in 3. 0, 1, 2, 3. We're in 3. So it's using up the stockpile goods. And then another day, we let another day pass. And we're starting to get, things are starting to run out here. Okay, we're at 0. And then, you know what I should have done is at the very end of this, let's do GD print first, whoops, dollar sign, squigs, county population. What was that thing? Employed idle days. No, actually, let's do their first name. And then not another squigs. Employed county population, employed idle. But then let's put in here that this is, that's what we're looking at. Employed days idle. And we'll move that down to there. Then we will go to here. We'll run this. That way we don't have to drill down, but it might just be that that's not representative of what's actually happening. I think we have a day break, a day in between them stockpiling and stuff too, which I think is weird, but that might be a different. Sometimes I think stuff's weird, but it's actually what I planned originally. So pop that off there, buddy. Oh, this isn't gonna work. This should be here because we can't. We'll leave it here too, just to see if we're getting some weird, if it's hitting that sometimes. So in this particular case, one versus 15. Input good value, they need 1. Yeah, that's right. Wait. No. This is wrong. This is, if there's, wait, stop flashing stuff. I'm thinking, input good value is less than the stockpile amount, then we do this stuff. It was hitting this every time, but it should have been adding the thing then. If the input value is 1, and yeah, it's going to be less than the stockpiled amount. For it to has enough goods equals false. This should have been going up like a madman. If the input value, which is 1, is less than this, which you would have like 10 or whatever, until you're down to 0. Yeah, it's got to be less than, because if it's less than or equal, yeah, we want it to be if there's not enough. I think that was backwards. That's another common thing I do is that in and or. I put in like and or. I'll say out loud, I'll be like, yeah, and this needs to be and then I'll type in or. And they look very different. All right, it's completed building. We have no verses showing up because we shouldn't, because it has enough. Now we got some. Where's this at? Did I save this shit? Good God. All right, one more time. Build it. There we go. So this shouldn't have. Oh. Wait a minute. Did I just change this backwards? So let's see. The input value is 1 in the stockpiled amount. No, this was right originally. The input value is greater than the stockpiled amount. Are we reducing the stockpiled amount anywhere? We are. It's right here. And this is set as true. So if the input value is greater... No, this was right. So if the stockpile amount's 10... No, this is wrong. What is going on here? If the input value is 1 and the stockpile amount is 15, has enough goods should be true still. So if this is less than, if the input value is 1 and the stockpile amount is, why am I stuck on this? I think my brain I've done enough programming. It's only 2.5 hours. Like, how do people do this for a living? If they're not 50. Input good. They have more experience. Value is 1. So we need 1, and it's less than the stockpile amount. No, this needs to be not a question mark. If the input value is 1 and the stockpile amount is 15, I'm just going back and forth here. If the input value is greater than the stockpile amount, we need it has enough goods. So if the input value is less than the stockpile amount, no, what is wrong with me here? The stockpile amount is 15. The input value is 1. The stockpile amount is 1. Let's say the stockpile amount is 5. Or sorry, the value is 5 and the stockpile amount is 2. That is greater than this, so it doesn't have enough goods. It's greater than this. Jesus Christ. That's right. Let's double check, because I suddenly can't figure out greater than or less than. If the value is greater than the amount that you need is greater than the stockpile amount, then you don't have enough. That's what we want. Construct this thing. And that shouldn't happen for 3 days. Okay, but we're hitting it here. Oh, it's checking this ahead of. It's checking this before it gets to here. That's why I thought this was inside this thing, and I was like, why is it showing this all the time? So we need this. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh. All right, let's get this out of here. We'll be able to find that easy. And this is the second check. Jesus Christ. We just gotta wait for a couple of days. Day 9 should be plenty. Yeah, employee date idle 4. 4. But why isn't it showing up? What day are we on? 9? Why isn't it showing up in the remote? This is like I asked this probably. This is not what we want. I ask this like every time. Why isn't this showing up in here? And it's at this point I should just not be asking. I should just not. I should give up. 5. Oh, it is. I probably had that backwards. I probably had this backwards or something, but that's working. All right, since it's obvious that my brain has stopped working, scouting equipment, we're doing good there. We've actually made some we're getting close. I know I say that all the time, but this time for real. We only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. We have it's 6 months from now. We're going to close this one because that was just like a note from yesterday. We already did this. We can close this. And this is what we just did. We did this. Let's actually check something here. So we're going through county. And then we go through this. This actually, because how we wrote this before, this actually, the thing we added to this kind of takes care of, we got to figure out this thing though. So that's our next goal here. Check before work, spin the input good to generate. We did this. I think it's working. Then we're going to add in this item. We need to change this so it only checks loyalty once a week or some amount of time. And it also checks for idle workers. Employed but idle on each person. So that's the thing that we're counting that number up to. So we probably could have it. I still want to do loyalty checks because we got to remember that this isn't like you're employed at a job normally. This is like you're helping your friend out to the friend being the character, the players. Well, one of the heroes of the players, but whatever. You're helping the ruler of the post-apocalyptic civilization out, because it's the right thing to do. You're not getting paid for it. So these people are not getting paid for it. So there is a loyalty check that does need to happen where they will stop working, and then they might start working right away, but they like stop for a day and then they might start working somewhere else. We kind of need also the population to move around a little bit. Otherwise, everyone will work at one spot forever and then you're fucked. So that is why we need that check there. So we definitely need that. Let's close this stuff and push this to GitHub. But we are getting there. I swear to God, we're going to have scouting equipment done here. I should have pushed this code to main so long ago. We've been working on this branch for literally over 3 months. And we got the scouting equipment in there. It's just all these other things I keep adding to that branch. So whatever. What did we do today? Population is... let's not put it that way. Let's put stockpile is getting used by population. And up it goes. It's there. That is it for me today, guys. Thank you for joining me. I will probably stream again next weekend. That's what I do. I do need to make a top 10 video. I've started a thing. I've done it for 1 year, but where I go over the top 10 video games that I streamed on my other channel at the end of the year. It's kind of hard to do. This one's gonna be kind of hard because it's there was less amazing games. Last time was the first one I did, so I had the top 10 then of all of the games that I had streamed before that, and there was like some amazing ones that was just like obvious they're gonna be on the list. This one's gonna be harder. But anyways, that is it for me, guys. Thank you for joining me. I will talk to you